Shalom Uvracha, everyone. My name is Leah Falik, and I am Rakezet here in the Chala. I am honored to have the opportunity to learn with you a little bit. One of the most famous ideas in this week's Parashat Beshalach, is Kriyas Yamsuf. And we know from the words in Tehillim, Hayam Ra'ah Ve'anos, that the waters saw and they split. And the Medrash comments, what did the waters see that caused them to split? The Medrash answers, they saw the bones of Yosef. So what's the connection between the two? What about the bones of Yosef caused the sea to split? Rav Dani Marcus from Rishit notes that what did the sea notice? That Yosef, think about it, he was sold by his brothers and he was thrown into a pit. He went into Mitzrayim. He sat in jail for 12 years. And then he was encountered by his brothers. The waters must have been churning inside of him, all those emotions for so many years. And what does he do? He overcomes all those emotions and he embraces them. And after that, the Yam saw that and said, wow, if Yosef can overcome its nature, can control all those churning waters inside of him, so too can the water itself. The message of the Yam Suf is that we have the ability to change. The Ishbitzer Rebbe notes on the Falik Parashat Yitzro, why is the Parsha called after him? So Rashi there comments very famously that Yitro heard two things. What did he hear? Kriyat Yamsuf and the War of Amalek. What those two things? Why are those things more than anything else? And what Yitro noticed was, I'm an Oved Avodah Zarah, and more than that, I'm a Kohen. I'm a priest of this entire religion. How could I possibly change and leave all that I stand for and become something that I believe is true? And he saw the Yam split. He said, if the Yam can change its whole nature, then I too can change my nature. What about Amalek? Amalek stands for no change. We're all animals. Animals can't change. And to see a nation that went from being slaves to being an Am HaNivchar, that has to go. Yitzro hears about Kriyas Yamsuf and he's galvanized by it, and he changes because of it. Change is very real and change is very possible, but it's very difficult. And while hindsight is 20/20, when going through change, clarity and the motivation to continue going can start to dwindle. We finally get out of Mitzrayim and we're on our way to Eretz Canaan, and then Hashem takes us on a slight detour. We're told in the Pasuk that Hashem takes us derech Eretz Plishtim ki karov hu, that God leads us in the way of the Plishtim because it was near. So Rashi there says ki karov hu. What does that mean? It means proximity, that given a setback, the people would just give up and they want to run back to Mitzrayim because it was so close by. But the Dad Zakin in Balei Tosfot gives a different explanation. It says rather than ki karov hu referring to a physical proximity, it's referring to a familial distance between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That he is our relative, he's close to us. Right? In Tehillim we're called Am Krovo. So the translation therefore is saying that Hashem did not lead us, right, via Eretz Plishtim as we are close to him. But what does that mean? So Rav Simcha Zissel Brody explains, Klal Yisrael have a special connection to Hashem, and therefore the way we live is differently than the rest of the world. We live under Hashgachat Hashem and not under the laws of nature. So in our parsha, we leave a long and grueling experience of being in Mitzrayim. It's time for us to go to Eretz Canaan, and we take the long way around. Right? And just then, Mitzrayim catch up to us, and the sea is right in front of us. And if we had taken the logical route, we wouldn't have been in that position. And why are we here? Ki karov hu, because we're close to Hashem. How does that make sense? So in the end, the splitting of the sea was something that Klal Yisrael went through and changed them forever. They saw Yad Hashem, they believed in Moshe and his servants, and they reached a level of emunah they had never had before. And as a result, they were far greater off than they could ever have imagined. What seemed to be a detour was actually an expression of ki karov hu, of that closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When all things seem lost and there's no way out, that's when Nachshon jumps in and the sea split. Do you ever wonder why it's called Kriyas Yamsuf, the tearing of the Yamsuf? and now called P'tichat Yam Suf, the opening of the Yam Suf. The way we imagine it is that we jumped in and the sea split and we walked through to the other ends. It's not true. It's Kriyat Yam Suf. Meaning what? That every step they took, they had to have belief in Hashem that He would make another Kriya in the Yam. Every step they took. But in Hashem's mercy, He left the back open. So they were able to turn around and see how very far they came. How fitting it is that this parsha coincides with the upcoming Chag of Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat comes at a time of year that's frankly very odd. The dead of winter, all the trees seem bare, the cold is blowing in our faces, and nature seems lifeless. Yet this time of the year, the sap is starting to rise within the trees, and new rings are forming within the bark, right? Giving signs of new life and rejuvenation. From outside, all seems lost, but really life is bursting forth within. Of course, you have to wait until the springtime to see all the freshness and its glory. But we celebrate Tu B'Shvat to mark our understanding that beneath the surface, beyond what the eye can see, we're growing leaps and bounds, even if it takes some time to see the full results. When all seems lost, there's no way out, I'm surrounded by the sea and by the Mitzrim, that's when Nachshon jumps in and the sea splits. When life outside seems so bare, and the trees are empty, that's when Hashem is working to make the sap rise. Yehi Ratzon, may it be Hashem's will that you keep these two ideas with you throughout your life. Remember, change is real and change is possible, and it's often hard. Remember, when you do struggle, take a moment to look back and see how very far you came. And remember that when all seems lost, the seeds of salvation are sprouting in a greater way than you could have ever imagined. Ki karovhu.